Hello, and welcome to episode 580 of Prog Review. And today we're talking about Private Parts and Pieces IX to XI. Know your Roman numerals. It's by Anthony Phillips. It's a box set. I didn't do an unboxing because everybody's here for Pink Floyd, aren't they? Pink Floyd! I'm going to call this Pink Floyd. I'm going to call it Pink Floyd. Put it in the metadata, and everyone will come and watch it. I'm being cheeky, and it's the final box in the Private Parts and Pieces series. Anthony Phillips, who he, in case you've not come across him, or he hasn't come across you. He was the first lead guitarist with Genesis, and he appeared on two of their albums. The first one, which we don't talk about, and the first one, Trespass, which we do talk about. And he's one of my favourites of the Genesis clique. I mean, of all of them, other than say Peter Gabriel, he's had a very interesting musical career. When I say that, I mean by the breadth of the music he's put out, because he's put out an awful lot of music over the years. And you've probably already heard him if you're in the UK, because some of his stuff was used on is used on the TV, for incidental music and that. He's primarily a guitarist, but he does tinkle the ivories as well. So there you go. And like I say, he's tried his hand at almost every genre of music. I think that's safe to say. I'm doing this review because people like Brendan Airy, hi Brendan, asked for it when I said, what do you want me to review? I think it's got two or three people asking for it, so I thought, well, what the hell. So what they're doing is they're collecting these Private Parts and Pieces albums, and those albums are kind of meant to be, well, they're kind of, I don't know, where it started off as like offcuts, tracks that didn't really belong anywhere else, demos, stuff that was a bit rough around the edges, and they've become a bit, some of the albums are a bit more refined than that, so, and also it's a play on words. Private parts means genitals. It's very funny. That's what going to Charterhouse does to you. See, you pay all that money, and they're making willy jokes with their album titles. Oh dear, that's the Charterhouse crowd. Annoyed. I've alienated them now. Anyway, so yeah, this was released recently by Esoteric because they've got the license to his music, and it consists of this clamshell box. There's a clamshell box for everybody, which opens up like that. See, I'm not going to do an unboxing because we're just gonna. And here's a booklet that you can't see it because of the light. See, and it's like and there's an essay in there from Jonathan Dan talking about the time period this covers, which is probably the only reason to buy the collection. Oh, I'm being mean, aren't I? I'm being mean. I'm being a bit mean there. Yeah, I mean, this isn't my favourite parts of the thing. So you get your little bucket, and you get Dragonfly Dreams, Soiree, City of Dreams, and this is just called Private Parts and Extra Pieces 3, which has again more offcuts, more bits and bobs from the archive. We'll start with Dragonfly Dreams. I think this was originally released in '97. I think it's primarily acoustic guitar, 12-string. There's some stuff on here he does with, I always get the guy's name wrong. Kiki Barragarcia? Kiki? I don't know what his name is. It starts with a Q. Kuki. Quick. That's why I didn't want to review this. People are going to go, oh, he said it wrong. I've never heard it said. I've only ever seen it written. And yeah, he does some pieces on it. And so it starts off kind of with instrumental and instrumental. It's all instrumental apart from She'll Be Waiting, which is Anthony Phillips sings. So it starts off with guitars, and then you get a little bit of keyboard and synthesizer stuff with Night Song and Lost and Found. And I was never a big fan of this record. I find it dull. I just sorry. And this is the problem with these albums. Is the last one he did, I think, was called Lost England. Was that number 8? New England, not Lost England. New England. I think I've still got it on CD somewhere, haven't I? Yeah, I have. I kept my copy. New England, that one. For me, that was the last decent Anthony Phillips album. I really like this record. I bought it the day it came out back in 1992. I was at Ealing College and I zipped out between lessons to go and buy it. But that's for another time. So yeah, I find this just very, very boring, very dull. And I'm a big fan. And there'll be fans going, oh wow, Kenya. I just find these last few albums, I don't know, I find any quirkiness, anything that about his music that grabbed me. I mean, because there's a lot of quirkiness on this. It's just, you know, mind you, Field Day was okay in places, but there's too much of it. But yeah, so this record I've never really cared for. And so I come on to Soiree, which again, the best thing is the artwork. I don't care for this one either. It's kind of almost like a follow-up to his Ivory Moon album, which was all piano-based. And I like that one. But this one, again, I just found it utterly bereft of any character or anything to keep me interested. You know, I listened to it a couple of times and it's nice, it's pleasant enough. Again, pleasant enough, but nothing that grabs me, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. And City of Dreams was released about 6 years ago, and I think I've already covered it. I think I've done a review of this. Again, it was okay. It was nice to have a, excuse me, it was nice to have a new Anthony Phillips album out. So, you know, but again, bit boring. Anyway, enough of that. So we come on to this is really what you're buying it for. You're buying it for the booklet, your little booklet, and the bonus disc of extra pieces. And you get a mixture of stuff, the guitar based and keyboardy, ambient kind of stuff in there. And it's pleasant enough. But there's nothing. The funny thing is, right, there's nothing on here to distinguish it from any of these. That's the quality of the music, you know. It's this, even though these are offcuts and bits have not been used, he's assembled them, and this could have been an album in its own right if you compare it to, you know, the material on here. So I mean, that's the level of material we've got now. And they come in these lovely little cardboardy sleeves, and you know that. And I didn't pay anything for mine because I ordered it when it was to tenner. And I used a voucher to pay for it. So I got this for free. Free Anthony Phillips. About fucking time. About time I got something free in this world. So, should you buy it? For completists only, I would say. If you're an absolute Anthony Phillips head who needs everything. If you're a newcomer, avoid. Because you'll go, why is Darren a fan of this man? His stuff is boring and middle of the road and uninspired. And I'd say, yeah, but go and listen to Geese and Ghost or Private Parts and Pieces, Back to the Pavilion. You know. But again, it was Anthony Phillips that you know, listened to his stuff that taught me that you can put little fragments of music on an album. You know, it doesn't have to be fully formed. You can just, if it's got an atmosphere to it or just feels right, you know, you can just put a little snippet on. You don't have to finish it. you know. And that's what I'll always take away from the Private Parts and Pieces records, is anything goes. And that freed me up, because in the past you think, oh, the song's got to be polished. But if it feels right, it's got a vibe to it. Maybe it's only 1 minute 30 seconds long, or it's just a tiny little fragment, and you can reverse it or whatnot. That's what I take from these records. But unfortunately, this for me is not a collection that I care much for. And I'm a fan. And everyone will say, no, you're not. But I am. More of a fan than you. So yeah. Maybe it's just because there's just so much of it. Looking at these, looking at how many, like there's 18 tracks on the first one, 20 tracks, 18, 31 tracks on the last disc, on the third disc. 31 tracks on City of Dreams, and I think again it illustrates what I've gone on about albums just being, fill a CD or see how much we can push. I think again in the old days when they were doing it on the vinyl, you had your 40 minutes and that was it, and so you had to kind of make it count. And I think here, and this is where his music suffers, because again he had an album out, crikey, good few years back now, 2005 I think it was, called Field Day, and it was a lovely record of like 12 string and acoustic, but it was just too much of it. It was a double CD, and it bludgeoned me over the head. And I just again kind of lost interest in it after a while, and I think that's the downfall here. So anyway, in terms of rating, I give this 2 Private Parts and Pieces out of 5. That's 2 Private Parts and Pieces out of 5, and you only get those 2 because there's some bonus stuff here that I've never heard, and the booklet's nice. Okay, now don't say I never do anything for you. I've been talking about this here box set from Anthony Phillips, Private Parts and Pieces IXXI. That's 9 to 11, I believe. See, I do know my Roman numerals. And on that, there's only one thing left to say, and that's Prog on.